Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a collective reading for the new moon in Sagittarius, which we have tonight, and we're going to be in that energy a few days after as well. So we are on our way back to doing regularly scheduled collective readings, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We will have a live stream coming up next Monday, I think it's December 2nd, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be back with the live streams. I'm very excited. It was a much needed break for November. As you guys know, I thought that I was being called to take November off to work on my next novel. Instead, it ended up being reunion with my divine counterpart and a lot of resting, a lot of recovery, a lot of integration of energies. The process of union with my divine counterpart as well, which was really, really lovely. The energy of November for the collective as well was very intense and very heavy. There was a lot of purging, especially as you were coming into physical proximity with your divine counterpart. The energy between you two is so strong that sometimes it looks like coming together and then stepping away from each other and giving each other some space, and then coming together and then withdrawing a bit. Sometimes that process does look like that. And that's very important because what you're actually doing is you're anchoring in the energy of coming back together. Now, the separation period is over. The period of long drawn out separation is being completed. That cycle is done. That cycle is over. But when you're in the process of union, you're balancing out your energies, especially as you're coming into physical proximity, and you're integrating and anchoring into this new harmonious state. You've cleared out all that soul sludge. You've cleared out all the karma. You've cleared out all the heaviness. That's really what Scorpio season this past November, and Mercury retrograde as well, had us coming into our deepest, darkest subconscious blocks and fears and traumas, really bringing that up to the surface for that final clearing, for that final release. Now, when they say final, they mean the final of the cycle. There still might be some layers there, but this is the big chunks. And if you imagine it like a big hunk of concrete in your soul, that's what it is. You were just taking a wrecking ball to that big hunk of concrete, which is that negative energy, any of that dense energy, and you were just railroading through it to clear it, to heal it. When I had a client reading this past week, we had actually talked about this. What I had channeled, I have some notes here that I took during that reading, was that the past decade leading up until this past month was really about that spiritual awakening. Many of us were catalyzed, whether it was through relationships, whether it was through accidents or illness or family dynamics or work situations, financial insecurity, whatever it was, there was a catalyst for your spiritual awakening. And what that did this past decade was it was very dense, heavy energy that we were clearing. We were clearing out all that soul sludge. We were clearing out that big, heavy, dense chunk of concrete. That's a metaphor. We were doing the healing work so that we could come into higher vibration, could come into that higher energy of love, of light. Remember who we truly are. And evolution is healing. Healing is evolution. What they told me in that reading with that client was this next decade, moving into 2020, is going to be pivotal. January, and they were showing me recently in a daily energy draw, the stroke of midnight on December 31st, New Year's, that everything changes from here on out. Now, understand that time is an illusion, but there is something about the energetic shift there where we are all ascending en masse now, where it's speeding up. We have really been the way showers. We've really been the pioneers, leading the way as light workers, as earth angels, as star seeds, for the masses to awaken. We are the leaders, the pioneers, the guides, they're saying. They're showing me the Hermit card, holding up the lantern. We are holding up the light. We are the leaders, the way showers, the guides for the ascension journey, for the planet as a whole. And the shift that is coming in January 2020, moving throughout the year leading up, they're showing me 2025 as another pivotal year. So the next few years, but the shift starting this year, the shift starting in 2020, January 2020, the stroke of midnight, something about the stroke of midnight where everything they're saying is reset. It's a leveling up of the planet. High vibrational energy, high energy as a whole, physical energy as a whole, because you're having those light activations, because your entire cellular structure, your DNA strands are being activated. Those dormant DNA strands are saying are being activated. Your cellular structure is changing to become more crystalline, to hold more light. And now is the ascension journey, where before the past decade was truly about spiritual awakening, now we are ascending. And for some of us, this might look more like coming into our mission work. Remember that you are your mission. We had channeled that recently as well. You as a light worker, you as a guide, you just being that love and that light for others and shining and not letting anything dim your light, you being in your authentic truth, you are your mission. So whatever it is that you choose for your work, whatever it is that you choose for your career, that's just the byproduct of who you are. That's just the byproduct of the mission that you are. You are your mission. But we're stepping more into that as we step more into ourselves, as we step more into our light, as we step more into our love. And so this heavy energy that we experienced in November was really a final push. It was a final purge, a closing out of that decades-long cycle of awakening to move into this ascension energy. And especially they're saying with Sagittarius season, Scorpio season was really about going deep within and reflecting, especially with that Mercury retrograde, really bringing up all that subconscious. They're also saying a lot of reunions during the retrograde as well. You might have had communication with your divine counterpart or meetups or something of the sort with your divine counterpart. The process of reunion was triggered. And I don't mean triggered as in the way that we know it. It was just catapulted in that kind of sense, triggered in that kind of sense. And so we're going to be seeing more of that leading up to January 2020 as well. More harmonious reunions, coming into actual communication and physical proximity. And again, remember that reunion is a process. Union is a process. It's not, okay, we're seeing each other again, now we're in union. It's not like that. Union is a harmonizing and a balancing of the energies. The energy within you becomes balanced and harmonized. And as you do that, you come into physical proximity, physical union, physical relationship and partnership with your divine counterpart. And so with the Scorpio season, they're pulling me back to that. With the Scorpio season, it was all about bringing up all the subconscious blocks. You might have had, they reminded me, a lot of throat activations. This was especially for your divine counterpart. Learning, that's not quite the right word, but remembering how to communicate, understanding how to communicate, how to speak their truth, how to be authentic to who they are, and really express themselves. So you might have had some throat chakra activations or experiences. You might have had very vivid dreams, heightened sensations. You might have felt their energy as well. So that might have been some of the dense energy that you were feeling. You might have felt your counterpart's energy. They might have felt yours as well. And so now what's happening with Sagittarius season is we're moving into much lighter energy. And if you're still feeling that dense, heavy energy, hang in there. You will get through it. It's because you are shifting. It's all for a cause. It's all for a shift. You are shifting into higher consciousness, higher vibrations, and higher consciousness. This is your evolution. And so as we move into Sagittarius season, what they've been telling me is in this card, the Sagittarius is represented by the Archer. And before I came on here, I was doing a little meditation, and this is what they were telling me. They said, do you remember back in, here we go. Oh, and here we are, the new moon in Sagittarius. Luck is on your side. Yes, absolutely. Because we're moving into a period of prosperity. We're moving into a period of abundance. We're moving into a period of manifestation, heightened manifestations because of your heightened vibrations, because you have cleared out those subconscious blocks during Scorpio season. You have cleared out those fears. You have cleared out those blocks. You have cleared out those traumas and the karma. You might have some of that residual energy, but you're able to transmute it because you have shifted, because of your power, because of your high vibrations. Anytime you feel any kind of, and understand this, we're not immune to fear. Shifting into higher consciousness does not mean we don't have fear. We are human. We're spiritual beings, yes, but we are having a human experience. And part of the human experience is sometimes experiencing darker or lower vibrational energy, anger, fear, doubt, insecurity, things like that. But it's our ability now to transmute that, to not sit in that energy, to recognize it and be conscious in our minds of what is happening and say, nope, I'm not going to tell myself that story. I'm going to rewrite the script. I'm going to change my vibration, focus on something else rather than the doubt, rather than the fear, rather than the anger. I'm going to keep my vibrations high. I'm going to choose happiness. I'm going to choose joy. That is our power. That is how we have shifted. That is how we have healed, the ability to transmute. And so we're moving into this energy of higher vibration with the Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy is also a fire sign. It's also about action. It's also about passion. What we have been channeling back, it must have been a year ago. I want to say February, March. But you guys can correct me for those of you who have been around since then, if I'm wrong about that. We have been channeling the slingshot energy, the bow and arrow. And what it felt like was we were in a period of pressure. And what it felt like was we were pulling back on the slingshot. And when you pull back on the slingshot, there's a tense energy there. There's an intensity there. It's like a friction energy because you're pulling back and you're holding it, just waiting to let go and shoot whatever it is, to shoot the bow straight out. But when you're pulling back, there's that tension on the bow. And we were in that for a very long time. We were in that tense energy for a very long time. And it was building and building and building. And then in, I think it was the summer, maybe early summer, midsummer, they had channeled to me that we let go. And the bow was released, the tension was released, the pressure was released, and the arrow was shooting to hit its mark. And back in August, September, they told me that it was hitting its mark. And now we are, they're telling me harvest. It's reaping what we sow. I need them to clarify. It hit its target, and it's almost like a piñata. You know when you hit a piñata, it explodes, and all this candy and good stuff pops out. That's what they're showing me. They're saying it hit its target, and it was just delayed a little bit because of the collective energy had to catch up, but now what's happening is it's exploding. The target is exploding they're showing me like rainbows and sunshine and puppies and hearts and all this stuff, all this positive energy. This is your manifestations. You are hitting the mark, and now your manifestations are coming in because you have learned to transmute, because you have learned that you have the power, that you learned that you have the tools to not stay in that dense, heavy energy. This is the energy of manifestation. This is the energy of the higher vibration. And that's what we're moving into, especially moving into January 2020. What you're going to be seeing, they're telling me, from this point on, clearing out that Scorpio energy, clearing out that Mercury retrograde energy, moving into the Sagittarius energy, especially with the new moon. We have an eclipse, we have the 12/12 portal, we have the 12/21 portal, and then we have that stroke of midnight. They keep showing me the clock and the stroke of midnight on 12/31, January 1st, 2020, whatever you want to call it. Oh, that's interesting. They're saying it's the in-between. It's the in-between between 12/31 and January 1st. The stroke of midnight, you're kind of straddling two worlds. And they're saying that's where we've been. We've been kind of straddling two worlds. And now we're moving into that new world. That's fascinating. Okay, so I want to clarify that and make that very, very clear what they're giving me. The stroke of midnight is leaving behind 2019. It's right between 12/31 and January 1st. And so what they're showing me is a clock with the hands of the clock right on the stroke of midnight. And they're saying that what we've been doing the past few months especially was straddling those two worlds of the old us and the new us, the old earth and the new earth, the third dimension and the fifth dimension. And what we're doing in 2020, that's what the shift is. We are shifting into new earth. We are shifting into fifth dimensional consciousness and above, because all of this leading up to this point has been preparation. It's been healing and clearing. It's been evolving and shifting in our consciousness. And it has been changing our cellular structure to more crystalline, to embody more of that fifth dimensional consciousness. That's why a lot of us needed that period of rest. A lot of us were pulled back from our spiritual studies to become more grounded, because there was a lot of light activations coming in during this time. And so now what's happening is we have had that prep work. We've had that period of respite. We've had that period of integration and anchoring. And so now what's happening is they're just showing me kind of like duality. They're kind of showing me like the before and the after. And now we're in the after. Now we're in a time, moving into a time of prosperity, moving into a time of, they're telling me instant manifestation. They're saying there might be some delays, but it's not going to be like it was, because you are understanding your power, you're understanding law of attraction, you're understanding the universe as a whole, you're having that higher perspective, and you're having that understanding of consciousness and Christ consciousness. And so you're going to be moving into this period of prosperity, into this higher dimensional consciousness and new earth. And that's all new earth is. New earth is just a dimension. Dimension is just a consciousness, and a level of consciousness. I want to see if they want to say anything more about that. Okay. I'm going to get, I want to see if they want to pull some cards. Let's talk about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. We've been talking a little bit about them. Divine masculines are communicating. They are feeling everything, is what I'm hearing. If you guys check me out on Instagram and Facebook, I've been putting up some readings throughout the month from there. Just, some written readings, quick readings, so you can check those out. But the divine masculine, they have been having that shift in consciousness as well. I was going to say awakening, but it's not like that. It's not like they're awakening, because they already are awakened. They've been having that shift in consciousness, an understanding of the connection, an understanding of themselves, and an understanding of their 3D world and how it relates to the world that they want to create, how it relates to that fifth dimensional consciousness. They have been seeing things from a higher perspective. Now, divine masculines have also been purging on a very deep level. Scorpio season was very, very difficult for them. A lot of them had some dark nights of the soul. A lot of them had some tower moments. But the tower moments were less of a crumbling and more of a breakthrough, more of epiphany moments. I'm hearing that it enabled them to really look at themselves as their authentic self, as soul, rather than just as identity, just as human. They were able to see it from both perspectives. And what they're actually telling me with that is that they were able to balance the mind and the heart. Before, the divine masculines especially, were so much in their mind space, so much in their logic, so much in their analytical space, so much in their reasoning, that they weren't feeling the emotions of their heart. We had channeled that it was almost like the divine masculine's heart was encased in ice, where they were feeling everything underneath, almost like a pond or something in the wintertime has a layer of ice on it, but underneath the water is still flowing, the fish are still swimming in the depths. They were feeling everything, but they weren't allowing themselves to express it. That was because of societal conditioning or past traumas, but mostly societal conditioning for the distorted masculine. Now, what happened was over the past few months, that ice, that top layer, had been breaking. Their emotions had been breaking through, and all of a sudden it was a flood. The dam broke, and all of a sudden it was a flood of emotions that they could not hold back, and they didn't know what to do with it. And so what's happening now, and what happened the past month or two, I want to say August through November, especially with November, what they were really doing was balancing their heart space and their mind to come into balance within themselves, come into union within themselves. Divine Feminines, you have been stepping into your power, releasing the pressure around this connection, not holding on to this connection so tightly, because you know that this connection is divinely guided. You know that this connection is yours. You know that this connection is meant to be, that the love is always there, that there is no separation. You really began to feel that in your heart space, not just understand it consciously, but really feel it. And you released the pressure. And as you released the pressure and the intensity of this connection, so did your masculine feel free. There's two things. Divine Feminines really need a space to feel love and loved. Masculine energy really needs a space to feel free, to feel freedom. And that's what you granted each other. The Divine Feminine and her Divine Feminine energy is allowing this connection to breathe now, because she has stepped into understanding, because she has stepped into flow, because she has stepped into her energy of receptivity. And so she's having this energy of this love is free, which is allowing the masculine to feel free without the pressure, without the intensity. And as that happens, the divine masculine, stepping into their divine masculine energy, is feeling and expressing love for the divine feminine as they express it for themselves. This reading is blowing my mind. This is amazing. Okay, I think we're going to just go right into let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on with the cards. What do we need to know about the divine? I'm not going to take this card, but we have you and your loved ones are safe. And I feel like that's piggybacking off of the energy here. If you were in a place where you were just in a purge, if you were just releasing, if you just were in very dense, heavy energy, trust that things are shifting, that you and your person, you and your partner are safe. Your connection is safe. Your connection is divinely guided, and you are coming into harmony with each other. Okay, divine masculine, then divine feminine, please. Let's see what's going on. Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Yes, this is what the divine... Well, let me get one for the feminines first. Hold on. You guys, I do have a new microphone, so let me know how the sound quality is. I'm really hoping that everything is recording well, because this is a phenomenal reading and I don't quite know what I'm channeling until I watch it back. But I'm excited to watch it back because it feels like very good energy. Divine Feminine, please. Divine Feminine. I'm going to take the bottom of the deck, but actually what they told me as I was finishing shuffling there was we can use these for both because the energies are so integrated right now. The masculine and the feminine energies are so merged that, and you actually might be feeling this with your divine counterpart. You might be feeling and not sure where it's your energy or where it's their energy. You might also be having very vivid dreams about each other. You might be having more telepathy with each other, more song downloads, things like that. It's because the energies are so merged. But I'm going to split it up between masculine and feminine energies, just as I'm called to channel. But these are the two cards that they had me take. So we had the Scorpio season. This is exactly what we were just channeling. So if you guys don't skip the channel messages in the beginning, because there's a reason, even though they're long intros, there's a reason why I start channeling as soon as I hit record, and there might be some pertinent information in there for you. Work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. November was that energy of reflection, that energy was diving deep within ourselves to clear out that soul sludge. This is what we were really doing. And what I'm hearing is that it stung the divine masculines. They might have been heavily triggered, have had a lot of tower moments, but the tower moments led to breakthroughs, that led to epiphanies. And what I'm actually hearing from divine masculine is it led to me understanding myself more and coming home to myself, which is a really beautiful energy. Because before it was almost like divine masculine was in such a way of wandering. They're showing me him like wandering in the desert, just not knowing where to go, really confused, really kind of missing home, missing his divine feminine, not sure, not having any direction, not sure where to go. But there were wake-up calls. Whatever it was, whether it was communication, whether it was family dynamics, whether it was friendships, whether it was work, financial security, whatever it was, just beliefs that they were working through, whatever it was, something, it was almost like, and not just once they're saying, but many times they were getting stung, they were getting triggered. And divine feminines, we have been there, we have been there. I was saying to one of my friends, it's funny, I was saying to one of my friends that if my divine masculine is being or has been triggered recently or in the past few months, going through his conscious shift, I feel empathy for him, compassion for him, because I know that I was horrible to him too in the beginning when I was going through my triggers and my challenges and my struggles with this journey. So we have compassion for divine masculines because we have been there. We were there. I mean, I used to lash out at my divine masculine, not out of anything but love, but just out of fear or anger or whatever it was that was going on within me. And so that's what they were doing. They're working through their fears. And so they might have been triggered. You might have had arguments. If you're in communication, you might have been blocked. If you're not in communication, you might have been ignored. They might have withdrawn. There might have been ghosting, so to speak. But whatever it was because they were working through their fears. Now, something to say about ghosting. What I've come to understand, I'm not taking that personally anymore. My divine masculine we would have conversations, we would have some great, and this is different. Things have really shifted for us. But it's because my views around it have shifted. And we've talked about it, and I've expressed myself around this and, how I don't really appreciate this, which has helped as well. Expressing yourself, always express what your needs are as well. But my divine masculine, we would have some great times together, and then all of a sudden he would go dark for a couple of days, and I'd be like, what is going on? Well, that shifted this past week. I want to say that shifted where I was going through that purge, that really heavy, dense energy purge, and I was just feeling anger, and I was feeling fear, and I was feeling rejected and abandoned, and I'm like forgotten, and I'm like, what is going on with him? I don't understand. And then I kept calling on my angels to help me because I knew I needed to shift this. And so what happened was I felt the pressure leave. I felt my fears dispel, and I felt something shift within me where I said, you know what? He just needs space, just like sometimes I need space to go within and just deal with what it is that I'm dealing with. And so when I stopped taking it personally, when I started giving him the space that he needed and allowing myself that same space, our connection became more intimate. Our connection became more, they're giving me the word sacred, and yes, that's what it feels like. Our connection became more nurturing and more loving because that pressure was gone. Because we are in sacred union. We are connected and always connected. There is truly no separation. And even, I do want him to say, I just need space. That's helpful for me. But I'm no longer taking it personally. I know what is happening, and I have that compassion that he's just busy, that he just needs time to go within. And I'm seeing a beautiful, beautiful shift in him and how he's expressing love, also expressing remorse to me, which I never ever thought would happen. And how we're just leaving that past behind and moving forward together. And it's a very beautiful energy. And it's because this November energy, this Scorpio energy, the Scorpio season, it's because we were moving through fears, both of us, but especially the divine masculine. We're really moving through fears of loss, moving through fears of abandonment, moving through fears of rejection, and moving through fears of regret. They were really stung and triggered by a lot. And so divine feminines, you might have been feeling some of that energy and transmuting some of that energy for your divine masculine as well. But you too were being triggered. That final push to release any of that fears and have that shift in consciousness where you're not taking it personally anymore. You're not telling yourself the same story so that you have the same old beliefs. Because if you perpetuate a belief, then you are caught in the same cycle. So how can you have that new perspective? How can you shift your focus so that it is different? Once I shifted my focus, once I had that change in perspective, I saw things so clearly. I saw the love between us so much more clearly. That it was always there, that it had been always there, even with some of the behaviors. And that does not excuse the behavior. I say it all the time. It does not excuse the behavior, but you have to be able to separate the actions from the love and just come back to understanding the love within the connection and the love within yourself. Okay. Meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces. They're giving me water energy here. Very emotional. Divine feminines might have been feeling very emotional, but what you were actually doing was balancing out your emotions, becoming more in harmony with your emotions. So not feeling like, I was just giving the example of how I was taking everything personally, and that was heightened emotion. But once I was able to neutralize that, once I was able to shift my perspective, change my focus, tell myself a different story, create a different belief, then my emotions were more balanced, and that created more balance and harmony within the connection because it made my divine masculine feel, well, I don't want to speak for him, but I believe it made my divine masculine feel safe. At least that's what my spirit guides are telling me. But it took the pressure and the intensity off. Coming into balance, it's just a feeling of neutrality and peace within yourself. Coming into an energy of more harmony within yourself, which creates harmony in your outside world. And what they're also saying with meditate and contemplate is that's what Scorpio season might have been for many of you as well. A lot of you were called to pull back and just rest and recuperate. And this was a refueling, is what they've told me, a refueling. Almost like they were purposefully depleting your energy. Some of you might have felt depleted physically. I know I was sick for about 3 weeks. My energy was just completely drained because they didn't want me to do my spiritual work. They wanted me to just ground myself and just rest and take care of my body and my emotions. So some of you might have felt depleted physically, but it was so you could turn inward and reflect while also balancing out and grounding your physical world. Really pulling back from, you might have been pulling back or pulled back from your spiritual studies, your spiritual work, things like that. For me, it was also because there were upgrades happening. The light activations that were happening, gifts coming online, things like that. But it was really a call to pull back and go within, to rest, in order to refuel, to recalibrate is the word that they're giving me, to recalibrate, especially with, like we were talking about in the beginning, the DNA and the crystalline energy, the crystalline structure of our bodies, for the more light and more love to be able to come in and stay here. Because when you have that dense block of low vibrational energy, it's blocking the light. It's that almost like that darkness, that's that dense energy that's blocking the light, and you can't rise into high vibration if you're having that pull you down. And so that's what was clearing away as well. And so that's what was happening. But with the Sagittarius season, they're telling me more movement. We're moving into more movement now. So you might feel more motivated. You might feel more energy. You might feel more high vibes, or at least you're going to be going into that over the next few months. Well, the next month. Something very magical, and I'm not just saying this because of the holiday season, which always has an energy of magic. For me, well, every day has a sense of magic for me, I'm not going to lie. I've been that way since I was a kid. But heightened magic. It's really a heightened time of miracles, and that's because collectively, around the holiday season, whatever it is that you celebrate, collectively, people believe in magic. People believe in miracles. People are more generous. People are more high vibe around the holiday season. And so that collective energy raises the vibrations of everyone. What we're doing in 2020, going from what we're doing on the ascension journey as a whole, but moving into this shift is we're maintaining that energy all the time. Believing in miracles, believing in magic, believing in ourselves. That high vibration, that love, that generosity, that benevolence, that beauty. Seeing that beauty in the world around us all the time. That is ascension. That is our evolution. That's what we're evolving into. That's how we're shifting into higher vibrational, higher dimensional consciousness. That is what this is. So imagine how you feel around the holiday season. That is what we're shifting into all the time. And how beautiful is that? Okay, I don't want this to go too long. So I'm just going to pull some cards and see what we have for the collective. Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, whatever comes in. Whatever comes in. What's going on? Divine Masculines, Divine Feminines, whatever comes in. Let's get 6 cards, please. I'm still open to readings if... Oh my god, the first card that comes out is 4 of Wands. No shit. Sacred unions are here, you guys. And that's what they have been channeling to me in the beginning of the reading. And I don't know if I said it or not, but especially going into December and January, these winter months, sacred unions are coming in. Not just reunions, not just meeting up with your divine counterpart, but experiencing more harmony, more balance, more partnership, more relationship, more engagement. Now, you can take that as you like. It could be engagement as in commitment, or it could be engagement as in communication, but more engagement with one another. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. What I was just saying as I was shuffling was I am still taking bookings if you guys are interested in a personal reading with me where I tap into your energies. I don't just do divine partnership readings. I also do career. I also do spiritual guidance in general. If you guys are looking for spiritual guidance, feel free to check me out at susanddawnspiritual.com. My message decks, if you guys are interested, I'm going to pause here for a second. If you guys are interested in my message decks, which I'm going to pull from at the end, this is the Conversations with Counterparts Volume 1. And this is the Conversations with Spirit. If you guys are interested in these, make sure you get your orders in this week. If you want early December shipping, if you want to receive your order by Christmas, make sure you get those in. They're always for sale, but make sure you get them in if you want December shipping. What's going on with this collective? Okay, let me get more cards and then I'll talk about that. It's kind of funny what's coming through. Yeah. Okay, we have 3 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which is working together, groundingness in the physical, partnership in the physical. This used to be, 3 of Cups is actually my union card. But this, if you guys hear me talk about the Trinity energy with union, this is the very first card in the traditional Rider-Waite that they showed me the actual Trinity energy. In the traditional Rider-Waite, it's one up here, it's a triangle, one up here, and then 2 pentacles here. And that's where they started channeling the Trinity energy for me for Sacred Union. It's the divine, divine masculine, and the divine feminine. I talk about this all the time. I will link it in the description box below, the special channeled messages for Sacred Union if you want to learn more about Sacred Union and the divine masculine, divine feminine energies. What does Sacred Union actually mean? But this is the energy of coming into partnership. This is the energy of coming into Sacred Union, but grounding that in a physical way, in a tangible way, in a relationship and partnership, whatever that will look like for you, really grounding that in the physical plane. Okay, what do we have here? we have, make sure you guys can see everything. So the Four of Wands came out. I'm going to have that crown because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about union. We're talking about celebration. We're talking about happiness, joy, bliss, union. Commitment. It could also be home life, commitment. But the 4 number they're pointing me to is foundational. Now we have another 4 here. And when this card came out, what I actually heard was no longer sitting on your pentacles, which is kind of funny because what's coming in is communication. Not only is the communication going to be swift with the Knight of Swords over here, but it's going to be balanced. It's going to bring balance, they're correcting me, and it's going to be some kind of expression of truth, of clarity that is going to feel victorious. Now, when I say victorious, they want me to clarify, it's not as in there's winners or losers in that kind of sense of victorious. It's going to feel victorious as it's going to feel like you're on top of the world kind of energy. They're telling me this is your crowning glory. This is your moment of truth. This is the divine masculine especially bringing forth some kind of clarity that is going to shift everything forward and have you both start with a new beginning. But it starts with communication. It starts with an expression of self. And I always say that, especially when the cups energy comes out, the Knight of Cups, it's not always like an apology or an expression of love. It's an expression of self. And that's truly what we want, the divine masculines to speak from the heart. That is what they're doing. It's almost like they're rising where they were withholding before. They're rising from that seat, no longer sitting on their pentacles. And they are moving towards this new beginning to speak their truth because they want that new beginning with you. They want that victory with you. They want that victory celebrations. They're saying celebration is a better word. They want that celebration with you. They want that partnership with you. They want that relationship with you. They want that harmony and that balance. And so this is coming in swiftly. This feels very much like past energy, where before, the reason why this is coming in so quickly, okay, they're giving it to me in reverse, actually. It's almost like past, present, or near future, and then what it's leading to. So the reason why they're getting off their asses, so to speak, they're getting off their pentacles, the reason why they are wanting to speak their truth, they're wanting this new beginning, the reason why it's going to come in swiftly and almost take you off guard is what I'm saying. It's going to surprise you. And you might be filled with emotions at what you hear. But I don't feel a guarded energy from you, Divine Feminines. It doesn't feel guarded. It just feels warm and good, like this is what you've been waiting for. This is a new beginning, I'm hearing, that you've both been waiting for. But now the Divine Masculine, they're ready for this. They're ready for this new beginning. They're ready to speak their truth. They're ready to say what they need to say to you because they have that clarity now. Before, they didn't have that clarity. They were blind to not only to this connection, they felt the feelings. They felt, hope you guys can't hear, that's the leaf truck outside. They felt everything. They felt the love for you, but they didn't consciously understand the depth of this connection or what it meant, or I'm also hearing what it meant for their life, how it would change their life. They were almost in a little bit of fear of how it would change their life, and so they didn't know how to move forward, and so they were kind of blocking their heart. You see how she's in green here? They were kind of blocking their heart, but they're showing me the sundial here. The time is now. They're ready. The time has shifted. Everything has shifted because they have shifted. And so they were called to rise up for this reckoning energy. Called to rise up for the second chance at life is what I'm hearing. The second chance at love. That is what ascension is. You die, a piece of you dies, especially the ego, in order to be reborn. You are the phoenix breaking down into ash, only to be reborn and forged in the fire. And then what happens is this healing energy comes in with temperance, and you come into balance within yourself. And as you come into balance within yourself, especially when it comes to self-love, you have more to offer each other. And so you balance it out within your connection as well. Balance out within yourself, then you balance out and harmonize within your connection. And so that is what has been leading them to no longer withholding, no longer holding back, now having pentacles to offer. Now more willing to offer the pentacles. Where before they were so guarded. They were like, nope, these are my pentacles. I'm not giving it away. Now that could be whatever it is, something physical in their life. That could be including you in their family, inviting you into their family kind of thing, into their home. That could be finances. That could be emotions, relationship, whatever that was. They're like, nope, this is mine. I don't have anything more to give you. Now they're understanding the free flow of love and how the more love that you receive, the more love that you give. And the more love that you give, the more love that you receive. That is the infinite flow. We've been channeling that for a long time. The infinity symbol, that's the infinite flow of love. Give and receive, and give and receive, and give and receive. Love is infinite. There is never a lack. And that's also how they've shifted. They've shifted out of lack mindset. And so now they have received that clarity. They've risen with the help of the divine, I'm hearing. And they are wanting to move forward towards you very quickly because I feel like they can't hold back. That's what I'm getting. It feels like they can't hold back. Okay, we're going to start closing out. I'm going to get messages. We'll do another reading. Well, stay tuned to Instagram because I'll have some updates there, some readings there on what's going on for Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine separately. But we'll have a reading for the live stream coming up on Monday, and then we'll be back with our regularly scheduled readings. So we'll have some more, including extended readings for those of you who are Patreon subscribers. So just like this, we're not doing an extended today, but just like this, we'll start diving in deeper over on the Patreon if you guys are resonating with these readings. So feel free to check out the Patreon in order to see, unlock all the bonus features, all the exclusive readings, all the mini readings that we do, and things like that. Make sure you check that out. And if you have any questions about any service I offer, any of the Patreon, any of my products, feel free to reach out via email to me, susandonspiritual@gmail.com. Okay, this is my message deck, Conversations with Counterparts, Volume 1. I also have Volume 2, which includes a little fewer cards, but it has 2 blank cards where you can write your own message on. And I guess you guys are getting a little bit creative with that, depending on how you're feeling. But all 3 decks are available in my Etsy shop, and I do have discounts if you want more than 1 deck. I do have bundles available. Okay, losing my voice. I've been having sore throats and loss of voice for the past few weeks and major throat chakra activations. Okay, what am I going to get? What does Divine Masculine want to say to the Divine Feminine at this time? Whew. Did you see that? How that flew? We're on time. They want you to know that everything is unfolding perfectly. There's no need to rush. There's no need to push. There's no need to put pressure on this. For some of you, you don't even need to take action. Trust your heart and where your heart is guiding you. For me, for months, Spirit was pushing me to send my Divine Masculine a book or reach out to him via text or phone call or go to his house. And I did not want to, but they were insistent, and it always kind of furthered our connection along. The Divine has got this. Your Divine Masculine has got this. It's time for you to believe and have faith in them because they are doing the work. They are coming towards you. So trust your heart as far as where your heart is leading you, but know that everything, wherever it is that you are in your journey, you are exactly on time for your connection, for your sacred union. It is evolving exactly as it's meant to, and you are coming into sacred union, especially for the wave that I read for. So trust in this. This is your Divine Masculine saying, trust me, trust in this. Divine Feminine to Divine Masculine. What do you want to say to your Divine Masculine? Divine Feminine. What do you want to say to your Divine Masculine? Divine Feminine, she has been through the ringer on this journey. She is trying to have courage, especially through these purges, especially through these heavy energies, especially as she's transmuting not just for herself, not just for the collective, but for her Divine Masculine as well. She's trying to hold the light, and she's saying, I am trying to be bold, and I'm trying to be brave. I'm trying to have courage for this last stretch as we come into union. She's saying, I'm having faith and I'm believing in you. I'm believing in us again. I'm in my power, but I miss you, Divine Masculine. I miss us. And I am so excited and I cannot wait to see where this life leads us. And I know I have to be patient. I know I have to allow things to unfold as they're meant to. I hear what you're saying, that we are on time, that things are still evolving, things are still unfolding. I'm just excited for where things are leading, and I can't wait, and I love you, and I miss you, and I'm just trying to be brave right now for this final stretch. I'm going to get conversations with Spirit. Spirit, what do we need to know as a collective? What do we need to know as a collective? What guidance do we need to know as a collective? Take that leap. You are ready. You are both ready. So if there's any energy of either of you holding back, or any energy of either of you feeling fearful, transmute that, clear that. Don't be afraid to take that leap, because you both want this. Four of Wands was crowning the reading. There was a first card that flipped out. You both want this sacred union. You both want this relationship, this commitment, this partnership. You both want this. So don't be afraid to express yourselves, either of you, and take that leap, because this is your brand new beginning. All right, you guys, this was a truly, truly astounding and beautiful reading. We'll be back on Monday with a live stream, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if this is resonating with you. We'll be back with some more daily energy draws this week, so make sure you check that out, and also check out our social media pages so you don't miss anything. I'm sending you guys so much love, so much light, and we'll see you soon.